Where'd the reflection go? I don't know. Let's go down. Oh, peekaboo. There goes the reflection. I see you. My name's Toon.
Head underwater, falling back into you. I thought we'd be smarter, I got nothing left to lose. You said you fall with me, no matter how far it goes. Down deep and under, we're stuck in this pattern, but I need you close. All I ever wanted was for you to prove me wrong. You're changing our colors again and again. I could never let you go. Something about you feels so different, makes me wanna risk it. Every time I look at you, you pull me back into your river. Swim a little deeper, I don't need to breathe with my head underwater.
Whoa, check out that flake, y'all. Y'all see that flake? Yo, don't go on. Come on, I just started the video. Let me unbeep beep. There you go. So, we're gonna start off part 3 of the Honda Accord paint job restoration with wet sanding and polishing the car. Car has been curing for about a week. I just picked up some 3000 grit sandpaper. I went to Harbor and Freight, and I got just some small things that I'm gonna need, to buff it out. Microfiber bonnet and several other items that come in handy for wet sanding and polishing the car. We have 7 to 8 inch terry cloths. So I'm about to show y'all the last little pickup I did at Harbor and Freight. I got some microfiber cleaning cloths, a 12 pack, which wasn't bad. This comes in handy for wet sanding and polishing a car. You see, look at detail, wax, etc., etc. This wasn't bad. This was like $6-7 for 12 microfiber cleaning cloths. Next, I got Meguiar's Glaze finishing compound. I got 2 of them. Most of the time I see people work with 3 of them via YouTube. When I watch videos, they work with, I believe, a heavy cut, a middle cut, and the final cut. Well, I got the heavy cut and I got the final cut. I didn't get the middle cut because these are kind of pricey. The ultra cut was like $35 and the rest was $29. So if you want to get all 3, you're looking at about $90 in chemicals, which is kind of pricey if you ask me. But considering that I need it, I just painted the car. That's how you achieve the maximum shine to your paint job. I figure I'm gonna have to invest in it. Not only that, but after polishing and wet sanding my car, I can always charge other people for the service. So if somebody want to get their car cut and buff, I can always charge them and have a little bit of chemical left over until I buy my next investment. I also picked this up from Harbor and Freight, not realizing that it wasn't for my particular polisher. This is for the Harbor and Freight polisher. You see how it has like a little Velcro pad on it? The polisher from Harbor and Freight comes with a Velcro backing. Check it out. So the polisher that I have, Nyko polisher, check it out. Nyko, look at it. Nyko. Polishers generally run anywhere from, like, you can get the cheap Harbor and Freight ones for like $50-60, $90, $120, $200, etc., etc. I got it for $10. I got it used. Yeah, I got it on a Facebook Marketplace. A gentleman used it to polish his boat before he got rid of it, and he had the box and everything with an extra bonnet. So he gave it to me for $10. Check it out. Look at it. That's bargain hunting. So this is definitely going to pay itself off. Right after I do my vehicle, this is going to pay itself off. But as you can see, it's like a slippery front. So that foam pad, this foam pad isn't going to work. So it's cool. I mean, I got it. I can always use it in the future if I ever need it again. I want to give you guys an example of what we're going to do today. This is the old bonnet. It actually broke. It is one that came with the kit that the guy sold me for $10. Meanwhile, yesterday, I tested some of the liquid on this spoiler on my 1990 Honda Civic hatchback. This is a spoiler. This car was painted probably 7-8 years ago. I spent probably like roughly about $1,000 to get a low budget paint job on this vehicle. He never polished it. He never wet sanded and polished it. He told me come back in like a month, but he took so long with my vehicle. He took about 2 months to actually finish this vehicle, and I had to like rush him. Not rush him, but I had to like press him. Like every time he told me it'll be done, I went to go pay for it. It was never done. It wasn't even started. So long story short, he was taking so long that I didn't want to take the car to him to West Sand and polish because I'm like, man, this bull gonna take even longer. So what I did was I rocked out with it. It had orange peel, as you can see. The paint job itself, I mean, it's not that bad. Like, it's not the worst paint job. Look at us. You see how you can see my reflection? The car's dirty right now, but it's like a green, like a hunter green, olive green with a little flake in it. Well, guess what? I wet sanded the wing yesterday and I polished it out. And look what it looked like. Look at the difference. Let's go to where it wasn't polished. You see over there it wasn't polished? I need y'all to look at the door. Focus on that door. Focus on how when I pull it back, you can see the door a lot clearer. You ready? You ready? You see how the door is a lot clearer here? And you can see it right here. If you look at the actual spoiler, you see how it's like orange peel is foggy. That's all fog. And then you get down to like right here and it's more defined. Right there, right there. You see how you got like that mirror? Look at it, you see it? You see how you can see the clean lines, you can see all the definition, but then you go over here and you do that same thing and you don't see that fogginess. See how it looks blurry? That's because it has orange peel, and this paint has been sitting for a really long time, so it's not the most perfect, but look how glassy that looks. This is 7-year-old paint, guys. This is 7-year-old paint that I decided to just do a little quick wet sand and buff to see if I could bring it back to life. And look at that. So my Civic hatch could be brought right back to life. So that's what my car has right now. The Accord has a little bit of fog or orange peel, aka orange peel. The reason why they call it orange peel is because if you look at the skin of an orange peel, you know how it's bumpy and you can't see a clean reflection? That's what paint looks like when it has orange peel. It has like a bumpiness to it. So what you want to do is wet sand it and polish it out to level out that clear coat. That's going to be the game plan for today. This quarter panel is looking a lot better than it did before. If you guys recall, there was a huge dent right here and I pulled it out with the spot welder and a dent pooler and filled it up and worked it out, and it looks pretty good. It looks really good. I'm happy with it, except we see this orange peel on the surface. You see how my reflection is blurry? You can barely see me, right? You don't see my shirt, you don't see like my hand, you don't really see much of a reflection. The clear coat is there, however, it's orange peel. So I got all the materials right here that I'm going to be using. I have some 1200 grit sandpaper, some 2000 grit sandpaper, and some 3000 grit sandpaper. All the sandpaper is wet and dry sandpaper. I have a bucket of water here because I'm going to throw some of these pieces in the water just so that it can sit. Those are the test pieces that I was using on the Honda Civic hatchback spoiler yesterday. I have some small foam blocks that I'm going to use for like tight crevices, and some scissors so I can cut the sandpaper if I need more. I'm going to use this tape to tape up this light right here so while I'm sanding I can protect the light and I don't get no scratches on it. I'll probably do the same right here too. I'll dab a little bit, but I'm not going to sand too hard on them lines. Them lines don't have that much clear. I mean, they have clear, but you want to make note not to sand hard on the lines. Even when polishing, you're not going to get much of a mirror shine out of it, so you want to make sure that you probably sand up to like right here. So I'm going to sand up to like right here, and then I'm going to do the same down here, and I'm going to do the same down here. I'm just going to leave like a little border just so that it's not too on the line, just so that I don't ruin my light. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to take my 1200 grit wet sandpaper, and I'm going to make sure that my sandpaper is always wet. We always want to work with wet sandpaper. We don't want to work with dry sandpaper. I'm going to soak my panel up, make sure my panel has enough moisture on it, and then I'm going to start sanding in an X motion. I'm going to start on one angle first, and then I'm going to crisscross, and I'm going to go the opposite angle. I'm going to go back against the other angle. What I'm doing here is I'm working down any of the clear coat that's uneven, any nibs. This helps it achieve that maximum shine that you want to get. But if you want that showroom paint job, you definitely have to wet sand and buff your car. And then I go the opposite way. Now I'm doing this with 1200 grit sandpaper. You're gonna do this 2 more times, once with 2000 grit sandpaper, and then again with 3000 grit sandpaper. Now I don't know if you notice, I'm not taking it straight to the top of the line, or I'm not taking it straight to the bottom of the line. There's no point. You're not gonna get any shinier. You're not gonna get a mirror reflection off of a line of a car. You'll get the mirror reflection off of the panel. Try to give you guys a better view so that you guys can see while I'm doing it, what it looks like. Some people use a spray bottle to keep the panel wet, but as long as you keep the panel extra lubed, you should be all right. Remember, going in X motion. I'm going in an X. Now at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the green cloth and I'm gonna dry up the panel. Now you're gonna see a white sludge come off. If you see that white sludge come off, that's fine. That's just the clear coat. It milks off. Now I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm going slightly over the wheel well. And I'm doing the quarter panels as well because this is all within the same quadrant. You're gonna be doing panel by panel, so you know, that's how you gotta do the whole car. You gotta do this whole car in this manner. Panel by panel by panel, all the way until you finish the car. Now I'm purposely not doing the top panel. Right here, you see how it's a separate half? Because I want you guys to see the difference. Now as it dries, I see a good deal of orange peel. So I'm gonna continue to go down a little bit more with this grit before I turn to 2000 grit. Some people also do this by a sander. They use a machine, a sanding machine, orbital sander. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it manually. The good thing about using a sponge is that it adapts or conforms to the grooves and to the crevices. Now I believe those guys use orbital sanders to save time on large panels like this. I believe it would have saved a lot of time, especially when you're doing a whole car. It might have been wise to use an orbital sander. I'm gonna have one super duper strong arm by the end of today, but yeah. So I'm all done with the 1200 grit sandpaper right now. I'm about to move over to the 2000 grit sandpaper. The 2000 grit sandpaper should sand out the 1200 grit sandpaper. Now 2000 grit sandpaper almost feels like it doesn't have any grit on it, but it's there. I'm just doing the same thing with 2000 grit, and then I'm going to repeat with 3000 grit. Always take time to dry off your panel, because when you dry off your panel, you're able to see what you missed. So if all's going according to plan, you should see your 1200 grit sand marks refined down to a finer grit, and you should see a smoother surface. I want to give you a better look at what to expect. You see how this is orange peel, and then you go down here and this is like powder white. That's because it's ashy now. I sanded the clear coat, but as you can see right here, even though it's ashy, look at it, you can still see a little bit of a shine even though it's been sanded. So that's progress, and it feels a lot smoother. It feels so smooth. It feels like butter, like a piece of glass. This up here feels like texture. This down here feels like, woo, like a skillet, like a pan, like a baking sheet. Like you just put butter on it. I'm gonna transition over to 3000 grit 3M sandpaper. Now this is ultra fine. We're gonna need it in order to bring this down to a mirror finish. Same thing, I'm gonna make sure, whoa. Same thing, I'm gonna make sure, whoa. Same thing, I'm gonna make sure my panel's soaked, and I'm gonna go against it. I'm going to dry off my surface now. see how everything looks. It's smooth. Like, I can rub over here easily. Let me see if it's easy to rub over here. Over here, I feel like a tugging. I feel like the paint is tugging me back. Over here, like my finger is like on ice skates. And I'm just ice skating along the paint. Over here, it's like chunky. Like dirt almost. Like a pasty feeling. It's not bad. Because most cars from the dealership come with orange peel. It's just different levels of orange peel. This is probably a higher level of orange peel because I use Harbor and Freight guns, which are not the most, you know, they're not the most recommended guns. They're not the best guns, but hey, it did the job. I'm gonna start off with the Professional Ultra Cut Compound. This is a extra heavy cut grit. It's rated at 12 on their scale from 0 to 12, from light cut to heavy cut. This is a heavy cut. So what this has in it, it has like sand, like really fine microscopic grits of polish, and that also helps sand those orange peely, or you know, ridges or bumps, whatever you want to call it. It helps fine tune that down even more. So this also takes down your 3000 grit sand scratches on a microscopic level. So I'm going to apply some generously to my polisher, but I'm also going to put a little bit on the panel. I'm going to put just a little bit on the panel. I made a mess here. Good thing is I can put it right back on the panel. Now with the polisher on a low speed, I'm going to put it to like 3. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to massage the cream into the paint job. I'm going to massage it in so that it's covering majority of the panel. I'm going to turn it up a little bit because I feel it's a little too low. You don't want to put it too high and have it burn your paint. I'm going to turn it a little higher now. Alright, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I didn't go heavy on this right here because that's a machine. I don't want to ruin it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually polish it in. But guys, the results that I'm seeing right now are already incredible, yo. I don't even know if y'all can see these results. These results right now are crazy, yo. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna massage this in with my hand. I'm gonna massage it in. Because if you massage it in with your hand, you act as a buffer. I want to do that with all of the corners because I don't want to burn the corners off. Wow. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Craziest part is I didn't even hit it with the second polish yet. The Ultra Finishing Polish. Advanced technology formula provides deep gloss and rich swirl-free results. Permanently removes swirls and light defects from all paint. Produces deep reflections and high gloss, smooth buffing feel, and fast wipe off. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to apply some generously to my cloth. Then I'm going to drop a little bit on the car. And I'm going to massage it in. Now this is a finer grit. I'm going to massage it in. And then I'm going to turn it on. So I'm going to end the polishing phase of the video here. I'm not going to show y'all any more of the polishing. I'm going to just show you it when it's done. It doesn't make sense to show you guys each and every panel. Look at that, my friends. Look at that panel. Look at me. You can see me, right? You can see me here, right? Now let's go up. You can't see my face no more. My face is blurred out. Now let's go back down. You can actually see me. Look at that reflection right there. Look how crispy that reflection looks, right? Now let's go up. Where'd the reflection go? I don't know. Let's go down. Oh, peekaboo. There goes the reflection. I see you. Yo, it feels so soft and so smooth. It feels like glass. Listen. It's like glass. Now watch this. You hear that? Now that's not the end of the world. If you get a little bit of orange peel in your car, guys, don't get mad because you got orange peel. I mean, it is what it is. You know, especially if it's a self project, it's not gonna be perfect. But listen, polishing and buffing it makes it look perfect. This was out here walking her. Had her leashless. She was running, but it's time to go. It's kind of hot out. I'm looking at the car from all the way over here, and it has a pretty good shine, y'all. It has a really good shine. Look at it. Wow. Looks good. It sits nice, too. Nice and low, right? All right, Jared. So let's go to our little space mobile. It still has some residue on it, man. I got to get that residue off. That residue is a pain in the butt to get off. All right, guys. So now's a better time than any to show you the update on the paint job for the 1984 Honda Accord. I know last y'all seen me was probably about 3 weeks ago. I know I've been delayed on the videos for the Honda Accord, but the final process was the buffing stage. The paint job does need a little TLC. It's not a perfect paint job. Perfect being, I did have a couple flaws when I peeled off the tape. For example, the bumper needs to be readdressed right there because it peeled off a little bit of the paint. I believe somebody backed up into it already, so they already left me a little gray patch on the front bumper. The hood, I want to repaint the hood. We already talked about why I want to repaint the hood. Other than that, check it out. It has a nice reflection. The reflection is pretty good. I even put a bottle in front of it with letters to see if I can see what it says. For example, let's pick up this trash bottle right here, right? Let's put it right here. And we just want to check the clarity of them letters. Can we read them letters? Are them letters legible? Is the imagery clear? And surprisingly enough, considering that I did this myself and I did it outdoors, it's a darn neat paint job. I mean, darn neat. I just created some terminology there. But it's acceptable, man. Look at that. It's acceptable. The trunk lid, guess what? I found a trunk lid used. I found 3 of these cars about an hour away in Jersey. He has the trunk lid, he has the bumper. He's gonna give me a good deal for both. This trunk lid, y'all remember I was trying my best to get it right. It's still imperfect, still got flaws. And then we had some paint blemishes that ended up coming out after it cured. So yeah, this bumper right here, the skin, you see it's all dry, it's ashy, even though I painted it and it looks pretty. The gray part looks nice, the black part looks awful. So, and then right here on the gray part, it has some scratches and blemishes. So I definitely want to change the bumper skin so I can have a clean bumper skin, and then change the trunk lid so we don't have to worry about the dents or trying to shape it out. But yeah, man, I didn't wash it today. I'm trying to let you guys see what it looked like. I didn't wash it, but look at that. You can see the car across the street. You know what I mean? Overall, guys, I am happy, man. I brought it back to life. And this is my very first paint job ever. So the way I look at it is, I know the second or third time around I ever hit this car again in the future, I'm probably not gonna hit it anytime soon. I'm gonna touch up the hood, the trunk lid, the bumper skin, the fender, maybe little details that might need to be addressed. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna do a full paint job until another probably decade, 5 years to a decade, and I'll do it indoors, hopefully next time around, right? But yeah, y'all, so this is the update on the 1984 Honda Accord.